Hey everybody, Mrs. Herman here. We are looking at student book page 278, which you completed and submitted yesterday, but we're going to go ahead and check over these problems together to make sure you're on the right track before you take your exit ticket today on division. All right, so I'm going to be going over specific things that you're going to need to know for that exit ticket as well. So make sure to have this out in front of you, your page, so that you can change or fix anything that you need to before your exit ticket so you know what to do. So we're going to start off with number 1. Mr. Lee's classroom has 966 markers, and his 28 students need to share the markers equally so everyone can work on an art project. So everyone needs to have the same amount. How many markers should each student get? So solve our problem, we're going to show our work. So let's think about what we have. We have 966 markers, and we're breaking them we're giving them to 28 different students. So we're making 28 groups of these. We need to figure out how many markers are going to go to each student so that they all have the same number. Remember, with division, our 4 steps are divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. Does McDonald's sell burgers? Or dad, mom, sister, brother? All right, we're going to start from there. So 28, can it go into 9? No, it cannot. But 28 can go into 96. So I need to, off to the side, kind of guess how many times I think it could go in. So if I do times 4, that's going to already get me in the 80s. So that might be a little too big. Let's go down to times 3. That gets me to 84. If I add another 28, I'm going to go over. So I know it goes in 3 times. Okay, I multiplied to get 84. I'm going to now subtract. And I'm going to bring down the 6. Now I need to figure out, I'm going to start all over again. 28 goes into 126 how many times? Well, I know 3 times gets me to 84. If I were to jump, let's say, to 5 times, okay, let's figure out what 28 times 5 is. That's 140. That's a little too big. So let's go ahead and figure out times 4. That's 112. That will work. So let's go ahead. That goes into 126 4 times. So 4 times 28 was 112. Go ahead and subtract. Now I have 14 left over. So that means in this case, each student can get 34 markers, but I've got 14 markers left over. That's not enough to give all those 28 students still a marker. I don't have 28, I only have 14 left. So this is telling me right here that 34 students can each, or 28 students, can each have 34 markers, okay? And I have to decide what to do with my remainder, but let's go ahead first and write this equation. So our equation was 966 divided by 28 is 34, remainder 14. Okay, that's our equation. We have a problem, an equal sign, and an answer. But then I have to explain what to do with the remainder. Well, remember, my options for the remainder is I can always round up. So in this case, can I round up to say everyone can have 35 markers? I can't, because I don't have enough to give everybody 35 markers. I only have 14 left. I don't have enough for everybody. So I can't round up. That's not a good option here. For number 2, I could write it as a fraction or a decimal. Now that works great when you can break something apart. Well, in this case, I don't want to break up those markers because they're not going to work. You're not supposed to do that. So that's not a good option. My final option would be to kind of just forget about it, meaning I'm just going to have leftover markers. Okay, so that's going to be how I interpret my remainder for this problem. I'm going to forget about the leftovers. Okay, I'm going to do this because I can't, well, I should say I shouldn't break apart markers. Okay, so we forgot about it. We can't break apart markers. You could say there's not enough to share. All right, all of those reasons would be good reasons to back up why you're going to forget about your remainder. All right, let's move on to number 2. Mr. Lee brought 70 granola bars for his students to share. So 70 granola bars. 3 students were absent. How many granola bars can each of his 25 students have? So there were 28, 3 of them aren't there, so there's 25. Okay, solve this problem. So think to yourself, what is the math problem that we are going to do to solve this? 70 divided by, 25. I've got 70 granola bars, and I'm going to share them amongst 25 students. So 25 can't go into 7. Can 25 go into 70? Yes, it can. Because of DMSB, I'm dividing 25 into 70. It goes in twice. I multiply 2 times 25. Whoops, it's 50. I've got 20 left over. I don't have anything to bring down in this problem, so this is just 2 remainder 20. This problem is telling me that every student is going to get 2 granola bars, but there's 20 granola bars left over, which is not quite enough to give everybody 3. 5 students would not get a third granola bar. So we have to kind of think about, what do we want to do with this problem? Let me go ahead with this remainder. Let me kind of copy this so we can see our options again. Oops, there we go. All right, so we are going to decide whether we're going to round up, which we don't have enough granola bars to do that, fraction or a decimal, or forget about it. So let's first write our equation down, which we know is 70 divided by 25 equals 2 remainder 20. And now we know for sure we can't with the remainder. We can't round up because we don't have enough granola bars to do that. Could we break apart our granola bars? We could. So we could actually do this one, but I'm going to be honest, you could also forget about it. Let's say you don't want to open up the granola bars and break them apart. You could maybe just say everybody gets 2, and then maybe we just save the extra 20 granola bars for something else. So I would take either option 2 or option 3. If you were to do option 2, you could write that. So our answer was 2 remainder 20. Remember, we write remainders as fractions by putting the remainder on top and then our divisor, the number we're dividing by, on the bottom. If I were to simplify that, that would be 2. Okay, I could divide each of these by 5. And I could get 2 4/5, which is also the same as 2 8/10 if I want to write that as a decimal. So you could say, all right, you could write them as a fraction or decimal and pick one of those ways, or you could forget about it, okay, and just the teacher could maybe keep the extra granola bars for extra snacks. So you're going to have to decide right here, either option 2 or option 3, what to write down there at the bottom. I'm not going to pick one because I don't want you to think one is more right than the other, but as long as you pick option 2 or option 3, forget about it. Everybody just gets 2 granola bars. That would be a perfect one to put down here. All right, go ahead when you are done with this, hop into that exit ticket, and you guys should be good to go to answer those questions. Thanks.